This is something else.
That Spider-Man 3 meme perfectly encapsulates this whole arc in a nutshell. Now, personally, I'm not going to go in a whole review of this arc because it's not over yet. And when it does get finished, I will do a whole review. But right now, with the latest chapter of Black Clover, I gotta say, it's getting pretty weird. Now, weird can be in a good way or bad way, but before we begin, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to always stay notified whenever I upload a video about Black Clover, My Academia, or Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I've given My Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen the criticism that I feel like were needed. Now, I think it's Black Clover's turn. Honestly, I'm going to say this right now. Last Black Clover chapter was pretty great. Now, before I get into the Lucifero stuff, because I have my defense on it, and I also have my criticism on it, but the chapter of Black Clover was pretty great. If you remove the defeat of Lucifero in some sort of anticlimactic way, this chapter is a 9 out of 10. It's beautiful. I love how Asta only has 5 seconds left, and he's making the most of it. How Lucifero is trying his best to punch Asta and get rid of him as soon as possible. And I do like the touch with Libe and Lasita's conversation in the past. It shows that no matter what, forever, and now that she will always love Asta, even if he doesn't know it. The tragic part about this is Asta will never get to know how Lasita is as a person, and she thinks that she's unfit to be his mother, but in reality, she was fit. She had to let him go for the greater purpose, so she didn't kill him. Say what you want about Lucifero losing, but you can't take away this flashback in this beautiful chapter with a fantastic art from Yuki Tabata. Now, I'm not saying I should shield Tabata from criticism, but this is what this video is about. I'm going to tell you my gripes about this arc going forward and how I think Tabata can fix it. Asta and Libe's Devil Union mastered only lasts 5 seconds. Now, obviously, this is pretty bad because right now, we don't know what's going to happen next, but let's continue with the review. And honestly, I love this new Asta. Asta just saying, you're the one who's worthless, you're the one who's going to die, and it's crazy. I love seeing this Asta. It's him and Libe finally synergized. I'm sick of Black Clover fans watering it down to its most basic level, saying, oh, it's the power of friendship. Oh, it's basically an asshole. Obviously, when Yuki Tabata has a bad chapter, I would definitely criticize it and bash it, but something like this, I just can't. This is a great chapter. Also, I just hate more than the Black Clover defenders who defend it no matter what, or the people who are, coping, or the people that, just basically praise Tabata for everything he does, even though we know that he has some flaws. But I hate more is the Black Clover haters, or the people criticizing Black Clover. I'm not saying that you can't criticize Black Clover, but do it in the right way, please. When somebody criticizes Black Clover as a series, and they say some wild stuff like Black Clover fights have no substance, or Black Clover only has assholes going for them, and they get corrected, they're saying, oh, I'm getting attacked by Tabata's angels, oh, I didn't say anything wrong, they're attacking me. I just hate when people do that. It's weird and it's stupid. You clearly said something wrong, and you're being criticized for it. But don't worry, I got a video for Black Clover fans. I'm definitely going to make a video on them, because I'm going to be honest, I don't think they're worse than My Academia, but I just can't stand them anymore. And now at the end of the chapter, it's crazy because there's many theories going around. Yami may have Lucifero's heart, and there may be a climactic showdown where they have to kill Yami to defeat Lucifero. Adramelech still hasn't moved and hasn't made his move, and people like the Force of Grass siblings and the Undying Bodies with the Dark Triad. Honestly, Tabata can pick his poison on what he wants to do with this arc and the characters going forward, because right now, the captains are down, Asta has just ran out of time with Devil Union, Yami and Noct are on death's door, Yuno is knocked out, and no one can be able to fight besides possibly Noelle, but I don't think she's ready for that smoke with Adramelech. Now, into Lucifero. Now, people have been saying that Lucifero is a disappointment of a villain, he did nothing for this arc, and he served no purpose. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's going to surprise everyone, I personally don't have a problem with Lucifero losing like this. Now, honestly, I don't think Lucifero is done here, but if Lucifero was to die, then yeah, I would be disappointed, because I really like Lucifero. But I think people are overreacting when they say, oh, Lucifero is the worst villain of the century. I think everyone should keep in mind that Lucifero is still at 50%. This isn't his full body, and this is only an amalgamation of the small devils and the lower-ranking devils. This is not Lucifero. Lucifero is still stuck in the underworld. But this Lucifero has caused mayhem, and it showed us we should fear the Supreme Devils coming forward into the series. Now, looking at Lucifero's character, I like to sum it up like this. Somebody who's made a mass destruction. Somebody who has actually gone through a bit of development this arc. Now, personally, I'm not going to say he's crazy in the development standpoint, But remember in the beginning of the arc where he told Dante that Asa and Libe do not compare to the Dark Triad and the high-ranking devils? He said that, but he's the one that stopped his 50% manifestation. I think it's karma on Lucifero. Lasita stopped his manifestation, and now her own offsprings are doing it. And people that are lowest of the low, people like Lasita, people like Libe and Asa, who were basically told that they were nothing by society that they lived in, and Lucifer embodied that society. He's telling them that they are nothing. Magical is trash. They don't compare to him, but they're the first ones that harm him. I think every devil this arc gained a human emotion. Lilith fear because they haven't been challenged in the underworld, and Magicla wanting to understand the human's emotions and wanting to use it and understand it more, being intrigued. And Lucifero acknowledged these humans because he understood that having a temper tantrum isn't going to help him, because he understands that they can harm him, they can kill him. And it's him putting his pride aside and admitting, yeah, these guys can kill me, and I gotta be wary. I'm no longer the top dog. Now, obviously, he's way above these guys, but he understands that these guys can kill him if they wanted to, if they get the right opportunity. Lucifer goes into the fight with more of a calm mind. You don't see him throwing temper tantrums anymore. It's him more being calm and calculated. Now, obviously, Lucifer saying that he's going to kill them all is crazy and all, but villains make empty threats all the time. But personally, I do think Lucifer needs to kill at least one major player in this arc, in my personal opinion, because he has been hyped up to be this demon king, this king that can destroy everything. But this is only 50% of Lucifero, so I don't think the same applies. But still, 50% and still being the strongest in the series is crazy. I think Tabata's first problem with this arc is the lack of a good villain. Now, we've been saying that, oh, the Dark Triad are the main villains. Oh, it's Morris, but now it's Lucifero. Now, personally, I don't want to talk about Morris. Morris, in my opinion, is a disappointment. I'm never putting my stock in that motherfucker again. I am sick of him. Apologies for that. That's what happens when I talk about Morris, a disappointment. Now, if you saw my Magicla video, I obviously think that she's the best devil that we saw so far. The best villain of the devils. And I think Xenon is the best villain of the Spade arc. Magicla and Xenon standing alone at the top. And the rest, damn, the rest are kind of disappointing. Lilith and Nama, I would say, are pretty average or mid. Dante, he had potential, but I still think that potential is yet to be reached. So he has potential. Vonica, again, I think y'all should know how I feel about Vonica. I don't really like her, and I think she's kind of terrible. Tabata can drop bangers after bangers of chapters, 10 of them, multiple of them, but then he drops a 4 out of 10 chapter, which was, chapter 304. We don't talk about that. I think 304 killed the tension in the arc. Personally, I think this is just a fun arc until the tension comes back, and Lucifero brought that tension back. Tabata, as an author, has had an issue with establishing stakes in a series or an arc. I feel like in the beginning of Black Clover, he has established his stakes well, but now I feel like they're all over the place, and he just doesn't know how to establish them. Just like I said, how Horikoshi kind of didn't go into Deku's mental health and the whole villain hunt arc. Yeah, I think Tabata has that same issue, but with stakes. And with Lucifero basically making his entrance and embodying the Magic Knight captains, the stakes were raised. It shows that, hey, Lucifero ain't just some average villain who's going to get beaten by some bullshit. This guy is stronger than everyone here. The first thing Lucifero did when he got out was flatten the Spade Kingdom, defeat Asta, defeat the Magic Knight captains, defeat Asta again. Yuno shows up, defeats Marileona, and fights Yuno and Asta. Nakayami defeats those three and loses to Asta. What's weird about this arc for me is that it's crazy that Lucifero has not dropped a lore reveal or anything hinting to his motivations. But I don't think that's the problem for me. I do think that you can have a fight without any lore reveals, but have amazing character development and character growth. I think Tabata could definitely save the stakes for this arc is by making Lucifero's heart be in Yami. It would make us feel that, hey, Lucifero really did this to our beloved Yami. And now we kind of have to hate him. Lucifer is a villain that we should hate. He killed Lasita. And yeah, we can hate him for that, but he needs to do more. He needs to do more than just killing Lasita, more than just beating up the captains and beating up our favorite characters, even though, in my opinion, that was kind of cool. Honestly, I said I'm not putting stocks in my villains anymore? Yeah, I'm putting them in a Adrammelech. Adrammelech is somebody who I'm so fascinated with, because in my personal opinion, Adrammelech is so cool, and he could do whatever he wants, and I think Tabata just can't miss with this character. Now, last thing, I want to talk about Lucifero's fighting style, with him just punching and kicking. I don't really have a problem with that. I think it's raw, because, again, a true DBZ fan, which I am, I don't have a problem with this. I think it's cool, and personally, I do think he should switch up how he fights, in my personal opinion. I think punching and kicking just wasn't working this chapter, and it's kind of stupid that he just didn't change it up. Honestly, it makes sense that he can't really make spells because Lilith and Nama, they were just throwing their magic everywhere with no spells. Because in the underworld, why do they need to make spells? They don't have grimoires. They're already the strongest of the strong. They don't need to change how they fight. But I think after this arc, I think Lucifero will get sealed in the underworld or get defeated. He's going to understand that, hey, maybe I need to fight more like these humans to match these humans. I think that would be amazing development for him. But that's how I think. Now, obviously, Lucifero does have a grimoire. He can't really make spells, and he can't do what Dante did against Asta and Yami. Also doesn't have the luxury of having somebody's soul. Look, if he had Dante and Morse's soul, he needs to go crazy with that. Modification magic and gravity and body magic, that would be crazy. But sadly, he doesn't have their souls, so we couldn't use their magic. In the last section, I want to talk about Morse. Now, if Morse comes back in some capacity, obviously people are not going to like him. They're going to say L man, L scientist, L villain, L character, honestly. But honestly, if he does come back, I want to see how Tabata does his fights. Because personally, Tabata could have done his fights more like Myri, because we know he's a Bleach fan at heart. We know he believes in Kubology. Now, with all that out the way, look, I do think that this arc has problems, but I don't think Lucifero is one of them. Now, obviously, you can be critical of Lucifero. He is very critical. You can criticize him. Do I think he's a bad villain? No. Do I think he's a perfect villain? No. He's not there yet. Now, obviously, if Lucifero goes up and just dies and never comes back, then yeah, he's a terrible villain. You can bash him, and I will not defend him. That's really all I have to say for this video. Now, honestly, when this arc ends, I'm definitely going to do a full-length review on everything. Yes, everything in this arc. Everything that is going on, the fight, the characters, the development, the villains. I will do that. I will try to get a grasp on Morse's character. Yes, even though I bashed him in this video. But, again, it has been the Red Cloak. I am going to head up out of here, guys. See you guys later. Comment down below what you guys think about the Spade arc right now. And do you think it's weird? Do you think Lucifer is a disappointment? Or whatever. Now, see you guys later. Peace out.